name is Casper, and today we will tie a strip fly. A quite easy tie, but a very efficient pattern. This here is called the Alive Shrimp, and it is originally done by a guy called Jesper Petersen from Denmark. Also goes under the name Alive Jesper. So here goes. I tie this one on a size 8 hook. You can do it in whatever size you want. I just like this one to be a smaller fly. I often use this as a dropper fly or a hovering fly in the autumn period where I want to get the tricky fish. There you go. I tie this on a white GSP thread from a Jensen. And this is a very strong thread. I really like to tie on this. You can do loads of different stuff with this. You can spin it so it gets quite thin, and you can spread it out and use it as a dopping loop and so on. I tie this one down to around the little hook point here. So I've stopped my thread there. Cut off the spare line. For this one it's quite easy material wise. I use a Jensen polar chenille in white with some flash in it, and I use an a Jensen cockhackle, and that's actually that. To begin with, I will take one of these feathers on the side that I normally won't use for anything because it's either too stiff or just not the right the feathers aren't working the right way for me. Something like this where it's broken off up here. And then I pull back the feather strings, pull off the worst of the ends here, put them together like this with my fingers, put them down here as a mouthpiece, make a loose turn, look if they're in the place you want, and then just tie them down or tie it down. There we go. Something like that. Then we take the polar chenille. I'm gonna start off by only taking out just a bit up here, something like that. And then I'm gonna take the fibers here, pull them one way, like that, pull them together out here, and use them as well as a mouthpiece just to give them that flash fiber look that you're gonna give the rest of the fly later on. Once again, just a loose turn, see if they are where you want it, and then just tie down the material. Cut off the spare parts, pull the materials a bit out so you tie them down and they don't go in every direction but only forward. Then we will do a little, I call it a pillow, which is something I use for the eyes. And for that you can use dupping. You can put in red dupping if you want, or want sort of a strike point and some contrast to the fly. But for this one I'm actually gonna use the marabou on the feather I just pulled off. So I'm gonna use the bottom part down here, pull out the strings, the feathers, use them just like dubbing, twist them on the leader, oh sorry, on the thread. Just give it a nice tight twist, and then just tie it down. Can be a bit tricky sometimes. Something like that. And you can just tie over it. You're not gonna use this as a real dubbing thing. Where you can scratch it out a bit just to give it a bit of liveliness to it. Pull it forward. And then just tie it down so you get sort of a cone head. Or a cone shape if you want. Going forward. And that is gonna help the eyes pop out. I'm gonna put the eyes on each side of that pillow, as I call it. For the eyes, I use the, you can use whatever color you want. For this one, I'm gonna use the fluoro orange from shrimp eyes from A. Jensen. And what's nice about these eyes, except for they're quite cool to look at, they have a great size as eyes. They have this little bend, so they're quite easy to work with, as you can see here as well. So when you put them next to each other, they will go different direction, and that makes it much easier to work with as shrimp eyes. So I'm just gonna put one on one side. It's a matter of taste where you want to put your eyes. Some want them to be long like that, or maybe not that long, but something like that, and other people want them closer to the hook itself. It's different from time to time, whatever I do. This one I'm gonna go just here, so it fits the hook end down there, or the hook bend. Then I tie it in one here. You can pull the rest material to the side, cut it off, take the next eye, put it on, make it fit the length of the one you just made, put on a nice loose turn, get it sorted while it hasn't been tied down yet. And then just tie it down when you have it where you want it. Something like that. Another cool thing about these eyes, you can, when you have put them on, you can pull them to each side and make them spread a bit more if you want that. Pull them in the direction you want. They are quite easy to work with. Just gonna tie down the spare piece there, cut that off, and then I normally take some glue, instant glue, Sabagap, whatever you call it, or whatever you have, and just put that on where you just put the eyes, so I know I will strengthen the anchor point of the eyes. Just gonna tie over again just to have some more thread to make a good anchor point for it. And I'm gonna let it dry a bit. We're gonna use a hackle going up the body, and for that we want one of these thin, or sort of thin hackles that are down on the side here. If you go up in these, there will be too big and too bulky. So go with one of these down here. Just pull one of them off. And then we will use probably around that much for it. something like that. Then I do that, I pull the materials back here so I can see where I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna pull it off some of the fibers, cut it so I have a little nice naked piece of the feather. Spread the materials a bit and tie them down so I have the curved, as you can see here, it bends. I'm gonna have the bend towards the fly, and if I do this quick enough, I still have a bit of glue that can strengthen the anchor point of the feather like that, so it will stay there. Then I'm gonna take my my flash fiber, or my polar chenille. Gonna cut off a piece like that. You don't have to cut it off from the beginning. You can also just use the whole meter or whatever there is in a bag and tie it down and go like that. Then you don't have any waste materials afterwards. I'm just gonna put that on here. Tie it down. Cut off the spare material. And I'm gonna get my thread down to the end. And then I'm gonna start turning the material. I'm gonna pull the fibers forward as I go backwards with the material, with the polar chenille. Important to take the fibers and pull them towards the eye so you don't lock them with every turn you make. You can do this as many times as you want, but I mean you can pull the materials as many times as you want. The more you do it, the more you have free fibers for the fly. So it's something like that. I forgot to mention before, it's important that when you put on the hackle, you take the bottom part of the hackle and tie in, because you want the cone shape, so you want it to go like that. So therefore you want the longest fibers of the feather up at the head and being smaller and smaller, going downwards to the hook eye. So there we go. I'm just gonna pull the fibers a bit forward just to lock them down in the right direction. And then I'm gonna take my hackle clamp, take the feather and start turning. Just want us to see how, something like that. Pull the materials back so you can make a good turn from the beginning. The first turn up here, I do that approximately 2 times, so I get a bit more feathers up there. I will lock the eye somehow. Sorry, my dog is barking. As you go downwards with the hackle, you will pull the fibers to each side, so you give yourself the space to do the hackle like that. Pull the fibers in different directions so you don't lock them with the hackle turns as you go downwards. As you come to the end, pull the fibers forward like that, go down to the end and lock down the feather like that. Cut off the rest of it. Just make the eyes stay where you want them. Pull the materials forward and lock it all down, pointing the right direction. Like that. Then the fly is actually done. You're just gonna end up here with a web finish. that. Tighten the thread, cut it off, and then I take my glue, this here, pulling my materials forward, and then I just give it a go around, and I always do that I hit I mark the bottom part of the materials with some glue as well, just to make it stay in the direction I want, going forward towards the eyes. I think that helps quite a lot. And now it's only a matter of I want to say integrity, that's not the right word, but it's a matter of how you want the fly to look. If you want to take a pair of pliers and pull out these materials that are pointing the wrong direction, you want the materials to go that way and not pointing all sorts of directions. You can see we have some materials here pointing the wrong direction. You can either do it with a plier like this, or you can just take your scissor, cut it off, or see if you can take your dubbing brush and just give it a nice firm go. That often helps quite a lot, pulling the materials the right direction. And then you really can see which one is not going the way you want them. As you go here. So you see I have some here pointing the wrong direction, just gonna cut those off. You could pull them off with a... I have some down here as well. Like that. Yeah. Then the fly's done. This is the Alive shrimp, a very efficient and quite iconic fly from the Danish fly tyer Jesper. And this is a very pulsating fly because of the materials are so lively. So this makes a great fly for hovering in the water, and it's great for tricky trouts as well. If you don't want as much flash fibers as I got in this one, you can just buy polar chenille without the flash in it. You can get them in all sorts of different colors, so you have many options. But this is the fly. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Great fishing out there.